What's up, guys? UFC 292 is happening this Saturday. I'm going to break down the whole card and give you my predictions and my picks. Let's get right into it. First, early prelim, Karine Silva versus Marina Morose. This is a pretty interesting fight because I think both of these ladies are pretty good. Karine Silva, I believe, is on a 7-fight win streak, all finishes. Marina Morose did just give up a loss, and Marina Morose does have a win over Karine Silva, but it was a very long time ago, so I don't think you could really read into it that much. I think this is going to be a pretty competitive fight, but I do think Karine Silva has made the improvements to her game to get a finish in this fight. I think she will finish Marina Morose probably by submission. She's younger. She's a little bit smaller than Marina Morose, but I've just seen improvements in her game. I think it's just because she's so young. Like when she gave up that loss to Marina Morose in 2014, I think, she was probably like 19 or 20 years old. And since then, it seemed to me like she's improved fight to fight. And I think she will get this one done by finish, probably by submission. I think she gets that one back and gets a submission win over Marina Morose. Moving up to women's flyweight, Natalia Silva versus Andrea Lee. This one's a pretty open and shut case for me. I just think Natalia Silva's good. I think she's a great fighter. Andrea Lee is good as well, but she's 34. Natalia Silva's 26. Natalia Silva has 15 wins and only 2 decisions, so she's a real finisher. A lot of submissions on her record. She's just high level. She's just really good. I think Natalia Silva is also going to get this win, probably by submission. I just think she's better. She's younger. She's better. What more do I got to say? Moving up to the last early prelim, middleweight, Andrea Petrovski, Gerald Meerschaert. It depends on what Gerald Meerschaert shows up, I feel like. Like if the Gerald Meerschaert who fought Bruno Silva shows up, he should be a minus 25,000 because that's the greatest middleweight of all time. But that's a coin flip I'm not willing to take. I think I'm going to go with Andrea Petrovski. I think he's just going to out-grapple Gerald Meerschaert. Andrea Petrovski's a fucking monster grappler. Gerald Meerschaert is quite good. But sometimes, man, he's a little too lackadaisical in there. Like he got out-grappled by Krzysztof Jotko, and Krzysztof Jotko got cut by the UFC, you know what I mean? I just think Petrovski's probably just going to club him. He's going to take him down and club him and probably get a TKO win. Now, with that being said, you know, you never know. You never know if Gerald Goatshart's going to show up and hit him with a round 3 sub. It's possible. Hey, man. Or a striking masterclass out of absolutely nowhere. If that happens, oh well. You know, the greatest middleweight of all time showed up, and there's nothing you can do. But I'm going to go with Andrea Petrovski, probably by TKO. I think he's going to out-grapple Gerald Meerschaert relatively easily and just ground and pound him. Oh, also, I'm going to say this. Brad Katana and Mario Batista are both listed on this card, but both of their opponents have pulled out. If they do get an opponent after this video goes up, I will give my predictions for their fights in the comments of this video. Just saying that now. Going up to lightweight, we have Austin Hubbard and Kurt Holobaugh. This is kind of a interesting fight. I think I'm going to go with Austin Hubbard just because I think he has the ability to maybe mix it up a little bit if things aren't going his way. I think Kurt Holobaugh is a little bit better on the feet than Austin Hubbard. Just a little bit. I think he's a little bit better on the feet, but I think Austin Hubbard has the wherewithal and the ability to, if things don't go his way on the feet, I think he can get a takedown on Kurt Holobaugh with relatively little resistance. And I think he can take this fight wherever he wants it to go. Whereas I think if you're Kurt Holobaugh and things aren't going your way on the feet, I don't think he has the option to try and take it to the ground and maybe make it a different style of fight. I don't think he can do that. Whereas I think Austin Hubbard can do that. And I think I rate that and I value that in this fight. Especially because Austin Hubbard's only 31 years old. Kurt Holobaugh's 36. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Austin Hubbard. Probably by decision, I think. Decision or late TKO, I think, is what's going to happen in this fight. Going up to middleweight, we have G-Rod, Gregory Rodriguez, Barack Obama himself versus Dennis Tallalin. They have Gregory Rodriguez at nearly a minus 400 favorite, which I think is a little bit crazy. Now, there's a caveat with that. If Gregory Rodriguez does what he does sometimes. He just gets into a fucking firefight with a guy on the feet. I think this line's should be a lot closer. But Gregory Rodriguez has the ability to exploit a glaring hole in Dennis Tallulin's game, which is his grappling defense. It's not great. It's just not really there. Gregory Rodriguez has the ability to take him down at will, I think. If he does do that, if Gregory Rodriguez mixes it up, I think this is an easy fight for Gregory Rodriguez. If he doesn't mix it up and decides to just stand and bang with Dennis Tallalin, I think there's going to be a little bit of danger there. I think it might get a little bit sweaty because Dennis Tallalin can crack and Gregory Rodriguez can be cracked, as you saw in his last fight against Bruno Ferreira. He's coming off of a pretty big knockout loss. But I am going to pick Gregory Rodriguez to win by TKO. I think he's going to mix it up. I think he's going to take Dennis Tallalin down. I don't think he's going to take as many risks in this fight coming back from a big knockout loss like that. I think he's going to be like, I'm clearly better than this guy on the ground. I'm going to slam him on his head, and I'm going to ground and pound him for a win. He could also get a submission as well, but I think I'm going to take him by TKO in this fight. Closing out the prelims at middleweight, Chris Weidman versus Brad Tavares. Man, this is a not great matchup for Chris Weidman to be coming back to. Chris Weidman, nasty leg break, over 2 years off, I do believe, at 39 years old, man. I hate to say it, because I'm a pretty big Chris Weidman fan. I like him quite a bit. I'm going to go with Brad Tavares, man. I think Chris Weidman's only path to victory in this fight is if he implements his wrestling. And if there's one thing that Brad Tavares is known for, is his durability and his takedown defense. Like he's got like Robert Whittaker levels of takedown defense. Like he is very good. He's got great balance. I think this is a hard matchup for Chris Weidman, especially at this age. Nasty leg break. I don't think Chris Weidman necessarily possesses the striking or the power in his striking to knock out Brad Tavares. Yeah, I think Brad Tavares is just going to get a TKO here. TKO or a decision. I think it's going to be a TKO, unfortunately. I hate to say it, too. Damn. Yeah. Just logically, you've got to play Brad Tavares. I would like to see Chris Weidman win, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. Jumping up to the main card, Marlon Vera, Pedro Munoz. This fight's interesting because I think the line is wrong on this fight. I think he should be flipped. I don't think Marlon Vera should be the favorite in this fight. I think Pedro Munoz should be, because when you look at this fight, it's only a 3-rounder. It's not a 5-rounder, so it gives Marlon Vera a lot less time to work. And basically, when you look at these two guys, you're basically picking who's going to win a decision. Because these guys, between them, they have 15 losses. They are all decisions. These guys don't get finished. So it's like, who do you think is going to get a decision win here? Chito Vera, a guy who his activity, not high. He's kind of a guy who wants to make a read, pick his time, throw a big shot. That's how he fights. But the problem with that is he gives up rounds. If you can't afford the luxury of giving up rounds in a 3-round fight. He was down 2 rounds to Frankie Edgar. He needed a knockout in the 3rd, and he got it. And the Dominic Cruz fight, if that fight was 3 rounds, it was a 30-27 win for Dominic Cruz. But Chito Vera got the read. I believe it was in the 4th round and got the head kick. But if it was a 3-round fight, he loses that fight, 30-27 to Dominic Cruz. He doesn't have the time to work. He doesn't have the time to make the read. Pedro Munoz, I think, is just going to win a decision on activity alone. I think it's honestly free. I don't see Marlon Vera landing a KO shot on Pedro Munoz. I don't see Pedro Munoz landing a KO shot on Marlon Vera. But what I do see is Pedro Munoz throwing a ton of volume at Marlon Vera for 15 minutes while Marlon Vera tries to plod forward, get his timing in, make his read, and pick his big shots. But I don't think that's going to be enough to not drop Pedro Munoz. I don't think it's going to be enough to finish Pedro Munoz. So I think Pedro Munoz is probably just going to get ahead in this fight And Marlon Vera's going to run out of time. I think Pedro Munoz is probably going to win a 29-28 decision. I think this is probably the best bet of the card. Now, this could age horribly. I don't think it's going to, but it could. Pedro Munoz decision, plus 160 right now on the money line. I like that bet a lot. Jumping up to welterweight, Ian Gary versus Neil Magny. I'm so bummed with this fight. I was really hoping Kevin Holland would step in maybe, or we would have gotten the original Jeff Neal fight. Neil Magny's boring as fuck, I'll be real. I think it's a bad idea to take this fight against Ian Gary on a week's notice as well. I think Ian Gary's a guy I have been wrong about before when he first started in the UFC. I didn't think very highly of him, but fight to fight, he's been making gigantic leaps. I wasn't really impressed with Ian Gary kind of until the end of his Song Kanan win, to be honest. And even then, I was kind of hard on him because he got dropped by Song Kanan when I watched that fight. I was like, you can't be minus 700 getting dropped on your head. But he came back very composed and dominated the rest of that fight. And then he smoked D-Rod in one round. And after that, I'm like, okay, this guy's good. This guy's making big improvements. This guy's good. Now, Ian Gary is giving up a tremendous amount of reach to Neil Magny. But I think Ian Gary's had a full camp. I don't think Neil Magny's style is going to work on a guy who moves as well as Ian Gary. I think Ian Gary's going to win this fight early. I think he's going to get like a first round TKO. I just think he's better than Neil Magny at this point in his career. You know, Neil Magny had just a disgustingly boring decision against Phil Rowe. And that fight was like really close. Ian Gary's training with Phil Rowe right now, who I think mirrors Neil Magny's style and size almost perfectly. He's got like the ideal training partner for this fight. I think Ian Gary is going to smoke Neil Magny. I really, really do. I'm going to go with Ian Gary probably by first or second round TKO. Moving up to the co-main event, we have Zhang Weili versus Amanda Lemos. I see a lot of people taking Amanda Lemos. I don't know if I can co-sign that, to be honest. I think Amanda Lemos suffers from bully syndrome. Basically what I mean by that is she's really good when people are scared of her and don't have the ability to really crack her back. If there's somebody with big power in their hands and the ability to walk towards her, she kind of crumples a little bit. Just a little bit. You saw it against Jessica Andrade, who just bulldozed her and standing choked her. I think Zhang Weili, she's got the power. She's got the skill on the feet. I think Amanda Lemos' style, I don't think it's going to translate well into a fight with Zhang Weili. And I also think Zhang Weili is just a much better grappler. Her wrestling is largely improved. You know, she took down, scrambled with, subbed Carla Esparza. I think Weili's probably going to get this done. I think she's going to win by submission. I think she's just going to take her down and choke her. I really do. Amanda Lemos can crack big time. She is a finisher, but she's 36, and I just don't want to go with like Amanda Lemos just because like what's the term? Puncher's chance, you know? Like she could crack Zhang Weili, but am I really gonna bet on her maybe cracking her? No. I'm just gonna bet on the person who I think is a much better fighter all around in Zhang Weili. I think she's going to win this fight by submission. I think her grappling is just much, much better than Amanda Lemos. And I think the striking is going to be relatively even. Both of them have big power. Both of them are pretty good on the feet. I think Zhang has better technique. Yeah, I'm going with Weili. Moving up to the main event, Aljamain Sterling, Sean O'Malley. It's got to be Aljamain Sterling, right? Aljamain Sterling by TKO, I think. Sean O'Malley can't defend the takedowns. I really don't think he can. If he's getting dumped on his head by Peter Yan, you know, Aljamain Sterling is a better grappler than Peter Yan. Aljamain Sterling was taking down Henry Cejudo. I don't see Sean O'Malley being able to defend those takedowns. And I feel like once Aljamain Sterling takes down Sean O'Malley, I feel like instead of going for a submission, I think he's going to try and actually make a statement and TKO him. I really do. And I think he's going to get that TKO. I don't know if Sean O'Malley really has anything in terms of grappling defense for a guy like Aljamain Sterling. Now, on the feet, this fight, it's much closer because Sean O'Malley can crack. He's a big dude for the division. He's got very clean striking. He's got very good boxing. But I think he runs the risk of if he throws any of his more kind of like wild techniques, like I don't know, like if he's just throwing like lazy kicks out there or leg kicks, I worry that they might get caught. And if they get caught, that's bad news because Aljamain Sterling, if he catches a kick or something, he will convert that into a takedown in Sean O'Malley. And if Sean O'Malley gets taken down, that's a round loss because I don't think he's going to get back up. I don't think he can. If you're betting Sean O'Malley, you're betting for like an early TKO. And I can't take Sean O'Malley getting a Hail Mary TKO in good faith. I can't. I'm going to go with Aljamain Sterling probably by TKO. I think he takes him down. I think he clubs him on the ground. He easily could submit Sean O'Malley as well. But I think he's going to opt for the TKO to just kind of make a statement. And then I think he's going to move up to featherweight to fight Volkanovski. But yeah, those are my picks for this card. It's kind of a small card, but if Brad Katana and Mario Batista get some opponents, it'll liven it up a little bit. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to drop a like, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.